I'm Rachel Griffith, and I live in Kenya, East Africa, where I'm a missionary there with me and my husband and our kids. So one of the main things that is just like birthed in our heart is the saying, one life to live, one life to give. And it's like what the Lord has shown us and what He's spoken to us, because we have one life, and it's that life that we have to give. For one, to give to Jesus, and then two, to give to this world. We began to lay down everything before we took up, before we really could hear what God was saying. You know, if you're like, well, I just want to live here and I want to have this, well, you end up clogging your ears to hearing what the Lord is saying. And so for us, it was laying down our life to say, look, we don't want anything else except to hear, to sit at your feet, Lord, and hear what you're saying to us. And that was the way that we began to put down all the things in our own heart, all of our own desires. And then it was His desires that began to be birthed in us. What Willie heard was this, that we would be on foreign soil in a year. So when he said that to me, I'm like, yeah, I think you're right about that. You know what I mean? We knew that. And so people laugh when I tell them this, but we were so committed to doing whatever the Lord spoke with us. We slept on air mattresses for a year. We did not go buy mattresses. We did not accumulate a bunch of stuff. We were like, Lord, if this is what you spoke to us, then we're gonna live our lives focused, like pushing in this direction. And Willie went, and he went for about, I think, 4 weeks. And in that time, he just spent a lot of time in prayer, and so did I. That was like, we both were like, we're gonna pray, and we're just gonna ask the Lord if this is like it. And when he came back, we took another month to just really pray and seek the Lord and fast. And we were like, this is it. Like, we just knew. You know what I mean? We just had this, for one, a desire, and for two, a peace. And the desire was leading, and the peace was in the fact that, we didn't know all the steps, but we knew we had heard the Lord. And so when we lay our desires down and we say, we humble ourselves before the Lord, then He lifts us up with what He has for us. And that becomes the sweetest thing. There's nothing that compares to that, is when you know that God has shaped this desire in you, and you begin to feel that purpose, that sense of like, oh man, I know this is what the Lord has spoken to me to do. I know that this is the step I'm supposed to take. Then it's like you're walking in those steps that you know this is where you're supposed to be. There's no other feeling like it. But it comes with laying down your desires first, and then it comes from really spending time with Him. We did not have like a large partner base, but we had enough money to buy 5 plane tickets, which would be me and Willie and our 3 kids. My youngest was a year and a half, and we packed up and we moved to Kenya, and that is really how things got going. We didn't have a roadmap. We didn't have a, like this super plan laid out. We just followed that. And as we began to just obey the Lord and what we believed He was telling us to do and how to do it, like things began to grow. And Kenneth Copeland Ministries has been one of our longest partners that partnered with us. I think it's 6 months into ministry, they partnered with us. And we've seen just like growth in all the areas that we believed God for. It was rough at times. There were major challenges at times, but that's part of knowing, like, just because you're doing what God is calling you to do doesn't mean it's always easy, but it's always worth it. Kenneth and Gloria are the most amazing example to me of just living a life that is so surrendered and committed to the Lord. And you draw faith from people that have like lived a life that is committed to the Lord, and they're like, hey, they didn't quit, they didn't compromise. I mean, I can think of so many stories that at different times just gave me like inspiration. Their life is a legacy to all of us who look at it and say, yeah, they did it, they lived it, they're living it still. You know what I mean? And it's a model for all of us to be like, wow, Lord, I want to live like that. And then just like being here at convention and just seeing these men of God and hearing their testimonies again and their stories, like just inspire me again to be like, yes, no quit. There's just that no quit. I want to just go until my time is up And I'm like, all right, take me home.